From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Headliners. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Just days after the Supreme Court allowed protected status for Venezuelans to be revoked, many in South Florida say they're not going to hide. Activists acknowledge the decision is a setback for them, but they insist the fight for them is far from over. CBS News Miami's Yvonne Taylor brings us up to date from Doral.
Activists and UCLA filed a lawsuit against the federal government to protect Venezuelans, two groups that have TPS. One of them requested it in 2021, the other one in 2023. The decision from the Supreme Court affects the latter, and that could happen as soon as now. I'm sad, very sad. We lost what we consider protection from ever being deported, told CBS News Miami Geniet Marquez. He filed for TPS in 2023. On Monday, the Supreme Court granted the U.S. Justice Department's request to lift a California judge order that halted Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's decision to terminate deportation protection to Venezuelans. Marquez is one of them. He said, "I'm not going to hide. I'm going to file for political asylum." Tricia McCaughlin, the Department of Homeland Security Assistant Secretary, called the ruling a win for the American people and the safety of our communities.
The fight is far from over, but this is a very big setback.
Adelis Ferro is a South Florida activist, part of the National TPS Alliance. They filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration in February. They challenged the decision by Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem to revoke the 18-month extension of TPS granted to 600,000 Venezuelans by the Biden administration.
Obviously, there are many people that is going to be without a status in the United States while this lawsuit ends and have a final decision.
Marquez could be one of them.
What we are doing is exploring different possibilities of doing something to try to help them.
Ferro and the National TPS Alliance are asking the federal government to withhold deportations in spite of leaving them without status.
It's difficult to know that the United States knows that Venezuela is a country that we can't go back because it's not safe.
Verona Sequeira is also a TPS recipient. In her case, she has protection and work permit until September of this year. Yet, she says all Venezuelans are here for the same reason.
I am depending on this status. If they take it away from me, I don't know what I'm going to do.
So the trial against the federal government is supposed to start in California next week. But in this city, where at least 30% of the population are of Venezuelan origin, the fear is that anybody who has no protection and ends up being detained could also be deported. We're in Doral. Yvonne Taylor, CBS News, Miami.
It was a full house at FIU as dozens of students, staff, and alumni gathered for a town hall to talk about a controversial partnership between FIU Police and ICE. CBS News Miami's Anna McAllister was there.
This agreement would allow FIU police officers to act as ICE agents, meaning they'd be able to question and detain people on campus that they suspect are here illegally. The police chief says that he believes his officers should be doing this rather than ICE agents, but many people in the community disagree. The FIU community showed out Wednesday night to hear a discussion about the school's police force entering into an agreement with the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
I wanted to be part of that enforcement when it applies to our FIU community, because I know how I interact with our FIU communities. We know our students, we know our faculty, we know our staff, we know how we interact with them. They're used to interacting with us in a certain way, and I want to maintain that as much as possible.
It's called the ICE 287G program, and if it moves forward, would allow FIU officers to act as ICE agents on campus. The move causing concern for students, staff, and the community.
It's not fair that students have to live in an environment of hostility, fearing racial profiling, that they could be detained at any moment. Their visas can be revoked. That's not what FIU is about.
In a moderated discussion, the chief, along with immigration experts and student leaders, discussed the direction of the agreement, with those opposing it saying racial profiling will be an issue.
For students who have this, who are caught in the trap of a broken immigration system, they can very much be vulnerable to a detention and deportation pipeline. online simply by coming to school.
Students voiced their fears about the potential of their loved ones being impacted.
If they bring their family members to their graduation, like these are all real scenarios that we should all be able to enjoy as students without the additional fear that our police officers, our security guards that apparently we won't even know if they're trained to be immigration enforcement officers, that are going to be standing outside the graduation ceremony.
FIU Police Chief Alexander Casas was asked how this agreement with ICE would look like on campus.
That is the million-dollar question, because I couldn't tell you right now.
We also asked the chief if students should be concerned.
Don't be concerned. If you're here illegally, take care of your stuff. If you're here lawfully, you have nothing to be concerned about.
And FIU entered this agreement voluntarily, and there are multiple other universities across the state who have entered into a similar agreement. But for now, reporting from FIU in Southwest Miami-Dade, Adam McAllister, CBS News, Miami.
Researchers say one of Miami-Dade County's first African-American communities on the verge of becoming totally extinct. It's called Seminola, and you may have lived here for a long time and not necessarily known about its history. CBS News Miami's Larry Seward brings it to us.
On Hialeah West 23rd Street, one 4-foot-tall stucco sign welcomes all to Seminola, where Progress Building Homes is bulldozing Reginald Gay's source of pride for 67 years.
Because it's where I grew up, I was raised here, and it's been lost.
A flag waves where his family house used to stand, and most neighbors, including Cotton Park's namesake,
his home used to be right there where that building is now,
left years ago.
It was a closely knit community.
Leaving one of Miami-Dade County's first African-American communities.
We have history to preserve in that community.
Grappling with losses dating back to the construction of Hialeah Park, now a casino, it began as a racetrack built by black workers who lived nearby.
This was swamp, right? And there were these people with their wooden shotgun houses.
Anthropologist Ariana Hernandez-Reguan spent years researching Seminola for a documentary.
The history of Seminola represents a contradiction, and I think it's a contradiction that has been at the core of African American history, which is the contradiction between segregation and integration.
Decades of development slowly changed land values.
For some, it has meant prosperity. You know, like now, there's a black family that is a landowner, that they own quite a few buildings. For many people, it's heartbreaking.
Gay's grandparents left Georgia, then built and owned 2339 West 5th Avenue. Today, it is city-managed housing with 83 apartments. It used to be Gay's family home.
After I lost my grandmother, like to me, everything was lost.
In 1979, the DJ known as Mad Jammer, who wears a mask with a photo of happier times with his mom, saw his dream home fade into memory.
My mom couldn't pay the taxes. So she said, you have it. Well, I can't afford it.
How does that make you feel?
Bad. I try to encourage myself, but, like with me, with my handicap, a lot of things stopped me from this, That's how we lost it. We lost it like that,
He rents and has no idea how long he can afford it. Dr. Maria Ilcheva is a researcher. She directs planning and operations for Florida International's Metropolitan Center.
It's hard to say no to this kind of offer, especially if they see what's happening with their neighbors.
City leaders did rename the park and streets after Seminolans. Still, it's hardly what brings this group together every June. Seminola Day attracts people living in other states who have ties here. They share food, they share culture. More than anything, they celebrate one another.
But they still love this community. They just love it. No matter where they are, they love it.
That was CBS News Miami's Larry Seward reporting. Hialeah's mayor told us that city staff is working directly with owners of historically important homes and buildings there, offering guidance on how to protect and highlight their valuable historical culture. It's a part of a broader preservation effort there. And we come back, see why your commute may look a bit different and what the major safety updates are coming to some South Florida bridges.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News Miami.
Welcome back to Headliners. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. Some often used bridges in South Florida are decaying and in need of repair. Some of these aging structures may need to be shut down for those repairs, which could take a long time. CBS News Miami's Steve Majiri found out there's more than one of them, and they could be near each other.
The Northwest 22nd Avenue Bridge here in Miami was closed for the last 3 months for repairs, and it just opened up last week. And during that time, commuters had to use the next bridge 5 blocks over. That's here on 17th Avenue. And now county officials are looking into whether this bridge also needs repairs. County officials tell me that both of these bridges are about a century old. Edward Bustillo says he's only had his driver's license for about a year and is just getting comfortable driving over the Northwest 17th Avenue Bridge.
It's the closest bridge to me, you know. Whenever I go to school or go to like any of my friends and family like across the bridge, like I always just go through there.
Miami-Dade County is conducting a study on whether the 17th Avenue Bridge needs replacement or further repairs. And Bustillo says if it were to even temporarily close down for repairs, he'd need another way across the Miami River.
I mean, it's gonna bring another headache, to be honest with you. Another headache for, however long does it take to fix that bridge. You know?
We reached out to the county. A spokesperson tells us of the county's 200 bridges, there are 50 of them that are nearing the end of their original design life. The spokesperson says this doesn't mean the bridges are unsafe. It simply means they're being closely monitored and will eventually require repairs to extend their service life or be replaced. The American Road and Transportation Builders Association has a list of the 25 most traveled structurally deficient bridges in Florida. 10 of them are in Miami-Dade County. A Miami-Dade County spokesperson says half of these are owned by the county. Craig says he doesn't drive and prefers walking across the 17th Avenue Bridge. He says he doesn't use it a lot, but understands that drivers that rely on it wouldn't want it closed.
Probably be a problem for people that use it on a weekly, daily basis.
County officials tell me that the 22nd Avenue Bridge may have to partially close again in the future for even more repairs. As for the bridge here on 17th, county officials tell me the study on it likely won't be done until 2028. In the Alapata neighborhood in Miami, Steve Majiri, CBS News, Miami.
Millions of families are set to hit the waters for the Memorial Day weekend, and in Miami-Dade County, drowning is the biggest cause of accidental deaths for children ages 1 to 14. The county says it'll tackle that unnerving statistic at this month's marks National Water Safety Month. CBS News Miami's Bree Buckley takes us to the pool to talk to students about the important message.
It's been 1 year since Miami-Dade County launched the Zero Drownings Initiative. And while some kids see it as a fun field trip to the pool, officials say it's saving lives. 5-year-old Jose says this is his favorite part of his school day.
I know how to do it.
Getting to hit the water with some of his classmates.
Swim in the water, jumping in the water, and splashing in the water.
He's learning life-saving basics like how to swim, float, and get in and out of the water safely.
We swim in the water and that's safe.
3, 2, 1, go down, go down, go down.
The swim lessons are part of Miami-Dade County's Zero Drownings Initiative, providing free 30-minute sessions every day for 10 days during the school day.
We have reached over 2,500 preschool and kindergarten children already from 66 elementary schools, utilizing 14 swimming pools all around the county.
Right before the program happened, we almost had an incident where he went under, and I thought he was joking around until I realized he needed help.
Sarah Hopkins had a scare with her son, enrolling him right after that happened, reassured that now he will be safe.
He's confident, he doesn't swim with floaties, he understands the severity of being around a pool, he doesn't clown around as much, and he's also brought what he learned here to teach his little sister how to swim.
And coming up on the biggest boating weekend of the year, officials are sending a reminder to make sure you don't just pack the life jacket, but make sure your kids are wearing them. In Miami, Bree Buckley, CBS News, Miami.
When we come back, see why a woman left for her decades-long career to inspire young minds in the classroom. Stick around.
From South Florida, this is Headliners, only on CBS News, Miami.
Welcome back to our program. I'm Elliot Rodriguez. If you've stepped outside in South Florida lately, you know it is very hot outside with temperatures in the 90s and the feels like temperatures even hotter than that. Can you believe there are areas where it feels even hotter? CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones has that report.
Brannigan Hart is a project geologist collecting water samples, and he's got it down to a science on how to keep cool.
We try to give ourselves as much shade as possible, especially when the site doesn't have any. We pack ourselves a cooler with ice and waters.
In Broward County, there are roughly 90,000 people that live in what's called a heat island. The county's resiliency team has pinpointed 9 areas of high risk. Drone 4 is showing you one of them, Hollywood. Other areas include Lauderhill, Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, and Pompano Beach, to name a few. At HCA Mercy Hospital, they're already seeing people come into the ER with heat-related illnesses.
Some tell us that they're having, the heat has affected them, and some they just come in saying they're feeling weak and dizzy.
The temperatures can be at least 5 degrees hotter than the max temp in a heat island, because heat islands are comprised of a lot of asphalt. We're here in Brickell. It is after 1 o'clock, so we're officially in the heat of the day. If we take our infrared thermometer, point it to the pavement, it registered at 117 degrees. If we take the same thermometer to the roadways and re-trigger it, it's registering at 128 degrees. And the temperatures here in Hollandale Beach are sitting at 144 degrees. And analysis done by the county shows that there are tens of thousands of residents that are dealing with these urban heat islands. In Coconut Grove, we caught up with a construction worker who says he works long hours in the sun, so he takes precautions.
We like the long sleeves just to keep the heat off of us. It helps.
All right, that was CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones reporting. In this week's All New Miami Proud, we introduce you to a woman who left her decades-long career to help shape young minds as a school teacher. Her career change was made possible by a nonprofit called TAP, the Teacher Accelerator Program, which is fast-tracking new talent into the classroom.
There's our example of a pyramid, and you have some on your papers.
Meet the Rookie Teacher of the Year at Palmetto Middle School. Amanda Burns is in her second year as a math teacher after spending 20 years in the restaurant business.
My degree is in hospitality management, and I worked with Shake Shack for 6 years and other restaurants before that. So yes, my real, my career until recently was specifically in restaurant management.
But Burns wanted a change. She found out about the nonprofit Achieve Miami and their Teacher Accelerator Program. TAP is addressing South Florida's chronic teacher shortage by helping college graduates in other professions change careers and become teachers. Leslie Miller Seance founded Achieve Miami 10 years ago. TAP was launched in 2023.
The Teacher Accelerator Program really came to being as a response to the major teacher crisis that we are feeling across the country. We found ourselves immersed in so many of our communities and noticing that we had schools where there were so many classrooms without a teacher.
In the past 2 years, TAP has placed some 200 teachers in local schools, with another 200 expected to join the teaching ranks in the fall. Trainees take a one-semester undergraduate education course, followed by a summer internship before landing a full-time teaching job.
We wanted smart people, passionate people, people who cared about what they did, but they might not have known exactly how to become teachers.
For me, the biggest thing was the support system that I got out of TAP, right? I came out of that with an education base, with colleagues, even if they weren't at my school. So for me, that was a huge piece of the confidence, right? They helped me develop my own confidence to be able to do that.
TAP turned out to be a perfect fit for Amanda, who wanted a job with better hours than the restaurant business so she could spend more time with her family, while at the same time working with young people, watching them learn and grow. Her students are very lucky. And thank you for joining us this half hour in Headliners. As always, keep it right here at CBS News Miami for up-to-the-minute breaking news and weather 24 hours a day. Make it a great day and a great weekend.